Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome, everyone. Ragnarok here with part number 31 of our Orion Ultimate Endgame Crisis, and this is Total War Campaign. Ooh, probably gonna be another abbreviated stream or shorter stream today, just because I've got to fix my Baldur's Gate 3 addiction, sadly. I haven't played it for a couple of days. Not really. I spent literally the last 2 days working on a first impression review of that game, and yeah, happy to finally get it out there. And I think now that it's finished, I should have a little bit more time to get back to a more regular Total War schedule. So probably be shorter streams because I'll probably be streaming both this and Baldur's Gate whenever I have a free day to do so. But yeah, hoping we can get back into this and continue working towards finishing it off. Kevin Lorder says the forest awakens yet again. Woohoo! We'll only get to watch a little. I've a little live made. Have to start work earlier today. Ah, shoot, man. Ah, the work demands of IRL.
No mercy.
Sadly. But nothing wrong with working hard, though. Alright, so last time we left off, we had some technical issues. Hopefully we won't have any more of those. I think I've sort of sorted out whatever issues I was having with my PC's core memory. And I think we should be good. So we were about to do this siege, which we're gonna do now. Quite a few troops in here, but we do have our Waywatcher ninjas to help out. I mean, we do have the option to auto resolve it, but I don't think we're gonna take that option. I think we got that's a lot of artillery. 5 artillery pieces in total, and these are blessed trebuchets. We're also taking on Rapons. Let's do it. But yeah, we got DLC coming out soon for a Warhammer 3. I don't know, did they release the actual date of the DLC? The actual release date? I'm sure they must have. But yeah, I've been so bogged down with BG3 that I haven't really been paying attention a whole lot. I did briefly watch the beginning of Legend of Total War's video, just talking because a lot of people are up in arms about the price for the DLC, and I just sort of listening to Legend's take on that a little bit. Fascinating stuff. Kevin says you started whilst I was making a cuppa. How you doing, Raggy? I'm good, I'm good. Marcus Wolfart says howdy. Big wave. What's up, Marcus? How are you boys doing today? Guess Kevin, as usual, is starting his day up in the future. Friday morning, having a cuppa. I've got here a cup of green tea, ginseng green tea, to go with my field of greens. I've been a lot of the YouTubers and streamers that I follow have Field of Greens as a sponsor, and I thought, well, why don't I take the plunge? And all of them seem to rave about this stuff, so let me give it a try, see if it's any good. And it actually is quite good, and supposedly it's very good for you as well. So there is that. So yeah, I've got my Field of Greens, and of course, Field of Greens, if you're listening, if you're looking for a small-time partner, small-time, if you want to sponsor the stream, I'm open to negotiations. So my contact info can be found in the description. Marcus Wolfart says, hard at work, my boy. Of course. Yeah, I don't know. You guys work hard, man. Kevin, you and Marcus, hard workers. It's always good. Very good quality to have. Good family men as well. Kevin says, Marcus Wolfart says, yeah, Friday, thank God. Only a couple hours left of work, and I mean the whole day. LOL. I'm sure it'll go by fast, though. sure it... Alright, yeah. Let's put the cavalry over here in hopes that they deploy their troops here. This is one of those settlements... It's weird. Why is this settlement a vampire settlement? Because this is a settlement that Bretonia starts with. This is Rapunzel's starting settlement. Shouldn't it be a... Shouldn't it be a... What do you call it? Bretonian settlement? Marcus says that, Kevin. I know what you mean. Oh man, work sucks, man. Work sucks. I mean, of course, unless you love your job. And I mean, it's not always all bad. I mean, it's kind of, you know, no matter what you're doing, it's just, you know, it's sort of up to you whether or not to get the enjoyment out of it to still have fun. But I mean, of course, there are also those situations when just work can be quite stressful and unbearable. These guys. So I guess we waste the ammunition since they're shooting at this guy. I know this is really exciting. I was gonna go in there and take them out, but if they're gonna shoot at him, I mean, it just kind of makes sense. Mark says, I love what I do in my current position. Nice, nice. Dude, it's so important, I think, in life to find something that you really enjoy and do that, because otherwise you're just going to be miserable. And especially, you know, considering, you know, modern life, how hard people have to work to be able to make a decent living. So, you know, the amount of time that you're going to be spending working, you might as well enjoy it, right? So, or if you're like me, you can just be miserable all the time. But I mean, being miserable has its its own sort of self-indulgent enjoyment, all of its own. God, they got a lot of ammo though. That's the one thing. I know this is terribly exciting stuff here. Kevin says, I wake up and go to work for my kids so they have everything they need. Otherwise, fuck work. Yeah. Yeah. True enough. True enough. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird because, you know, it's... I don't know. I mean, this is going to be a little bit of a political tangent, but, you know, like with the rise of these digital currencies and now central bank currencies, and, you know, the thing is, like, it's very likely that they're going to slip in these central bank currencies sort of like under, you know, it unbeknownst to the rest of us. Like, most people are opposed to them, which of course we probably should be, because central bank currency is, you know, a means for them to completely control our lives. And you know, though the thing is, I mean, you could argue that we're already kind of there in the form of digital currencies, right? But anyway, what I'm trying to get at is that we live in an age where we almost, like, absolutely need to have some form of what is it called? Like universal base income, right? Because as a society, we're getting to that point where we don't necessarily need to be working, all of us. I think one of the weird things about the pandemic is it kind of showed that the economy can still run with like a very limited size workforce, right? And, you know, as AI continues to make leaps and bounds, as machines continue to evolve, you know, the need for human labor is becoming less and less, and even now skilled jobs like, you know, lawyers, for example, drawing up legal drafts will be replaced by artificial intelligence. And it's kind of, you know, whether or not you agree with universal basic income and sort of what it represents, the thing is there's gonna be a kind of need for it, because not everyone's gonna need to work. And on top of that, you know, there's gonna be a lot of jobs that are lost because of it. Kevin says it's easier to hide money. That's why they want to go that way. Sorry, it's easier to hide digital money. That's why they want to go that way. Because if I was well off and wanted a 100K, I'd have to wait 3 days for the bank to get that much. Digital, they just transfer that shit. Yeah, no, absolutely. The scary thing about digital currency is sort of like what happened here in Canada with the whole trucker thing, where the trucker protest, where they shut off not only the bank accounts of the people who were participating in the protest, but also people who were funding the protest, like people who were donating in the gifts. And goes, okay, I'm really getting bored of this. I can't. I mean, we've almost got rid of most of it. There's another one best. Okay, let's just get in here. See if we can take out some of these that are isolated. Miners and blasting charges. Not worry about that too much. Yeah, just, I don't know. Starting to numb my brain here with the whole dodging ammunition. The key is we don't have to necessarily wipe them out, just knock them off the trebuchets. But yeah, the fear is that a lot of people are gonna get left behind if, you know, if something's not done, right? I don't know. It's a tough situation, because the last thing you want to do, or the last thing we should be doing, is giving the government more control over our lives, because they, once you give up your rights, they don't tend to give them back. Kevin says, "Oh wow, isn't that illegal?" LOL. Dude, well, yeah, technically yes. It's you know, like, in terms of our Charter of Rights and Freedoms, it's illegal. Not to mention, you know, the banks. It puts the banks in a really uncomfortable position, because, you know, they're doing the government's bidding, and there's, you know, like, people, you know, it should be a fundamental right that people have access to a bank account, right? Like, it really, you know, it's one of those, it's one of the many things that have just been kind of brushed under the carpet, right? Like, it's crazy how, you know, like, how scandalous the world we live in, and the basic sort of, like, way of dealing with these scandals politically is just, well, let's just ignore it until it goes away, essentially. Let's not address it and wait for it to essentially to go away. I don't know. Man, we should try and get rid of these Pegasus Knights before we take out these trebuchets. Had not considered that necessarily. Kevin says, only the wealthy have freedom, Raggy. Come on, who are we kidding? This is true. This is true. That's I think that's why people are so, you know, seek money. You know, why our, you know, culture has been so driven by chasing wealth and chasing, you know, chasing money, is because it's the only way to be free in our society, right? Or one of the only ways. I guess you know, you could just say the hell with it and, you know, become a monk, live in the present moment, and just, you know, become a homeless vagabond or whatever, and I guess that would bring its own sort of freedom, but I don't know that it would be particularly enjoyable necessarily. Damn it, I was hoping I could draw them over here, but maybe we can get them in range of our archers here. But yeah, that's, you know, like, what all this stuff is really about is control, power, and the right to be free. You is an important aspect of it. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Freaking crazy what some of these politicians and the wealthy can get away with sometimes. It's absolutely unreal. Just move up a bit here. Just trying to draw these guys over here. A little concerned we're gonna get slowly chipped away here. Maybe I shouldn't have initiated the siege. Kevin says, I would rather live off the grid with a farm and some farm animals. That would be my dream. If my dream life, unfortunately, that would mean no Ragnarok Total War. This is true. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I would love to do that as well. That's but you know, it's tough to get started and set up, especially, you know, if you dig a bit of a hole for yourself. Evil Yoda says the privately owned machines of production need to be publicly owned. Energy need to be nationalized as well. Housing must be decommodified. Yeah, you know, the interesting ideas for sure. It's just so tough to implement them, and yeah, very some very complex complex stuff for sure. This guy's getting all messed up here. I wonder what would happen. All right, let's bring you guys up here, and you guys. But yeah, I mean, in our current, I don't know. I'm pretty much more or less speaking from a Canadian perspective, obviously, because you know that's where I live, and that's, you know, the experience that I know. You guys are wasting your ammo here. Don't just dodging our shots. But yeah, I mean, here in Canada, the system is sort of geared in a way to make it very difficult for people to be independent. That the system is kind of geared in a way for dependency on the system, and once you have that dependency, it's you know, our way or the highway kind of thing. And I'll give you an example. This really tragic thing that happened here in Ontario not so long ago is this this guy needed an organ, some kind of organ transplant, like a life-saving organ transplant, right? And so, I mean, here in Canada, the healthcare is covered. Like we have public healthcare, right? And so the majority of the costs, if not all the costs, are covered by public healthcare. And so this guy applied for an organ transplant, and I'm gonna bring you guys over this way. Applied for an organ transplant and was denied because he didn't get the jab. And so, okay, fine, they deny him, and what ended up happening is on his deathbed, the organ donors or whatever, like the company or the people representing the organ donors, called him, or I guess called his wife, and asked him if he would like to be an organ donor, or like to donate his organs. And it's like, what? So you're not, anyway, that's, I guess, probably a little bit too heavy of topics for Total War. But I mean, that's kind of an example of where, you know, essentially the system will say, well, do it our way, or, you know, or else, basically. Nathan Cotier says, howdy, Raggy Hoser. How's the eternal hippie tree hugger campaign going. It's going. It's going. We're sieging out here. I wouldn't say that the siege is going particularly well, as we are getting worn down a little. Excuse me, a little bit here. I don't have any magic at my disposal, unfortunately. But I'm gonna try and break in here with my my horsies, or my, I guess they're stags. They're not horses. But yeah, I guess we can shoot some peasants, wear them down. Come around this way. These freaking towers are chipping away. Chipping away at me. But yeah, I'm gonna try and go for the victory point here. See if we can win it that way. But yeah, Nathan, how are you, man? Good to see you, brother. I don't know how I got onto the subject of digital currencies and universal basic income and then healthcare choices and stuff. I don't know where that all came from. I think it's because, I don't know, I've got like all this political stuff on my mind because Baldur's Gate has like a lot of like undertones of some pretty heavy duty political stuff. If you look under the surface a little bit. Shit, back it up and turn this off for now. Alright, we're through here. See if we can take out these mounted yeomen. Nathan says, okay, so I came in halfway of you talking about. All I'm gonna say is so glad I don't got that poison coursing through my veins. Yeah, it's I think a lot of folks are regretting it, and a lot of folks don't realize, like, the other thing is too, like, a lot of folks don't realize how dangerous that stuff could potentially be. I don't know. I think like the person who, I love listening to him talk about it because he tries and takes all angles of the discussion, tries to take all of the information in and come to the best possible conclusion, and that's Brett Weinstein. Him and his wife Heather Haying, I think, do an excellent job of trying to sift through the noise and sift through all of the data and things like that to come to a reasonable conclusion. And I think Brett Weinstein has really been vindicated through this whole thing. And yeah, anyway, but yeah, I agree, Nathan. Georgia says hello there, and Evil Yoda says losing power from the sword, be back if possible. Okay, cool. Hopefully the storm's not too bad. We had like a mild storm here earlier today, mild thunderstorm. It said I got like an extreme weather warning on my phone, but it actually turned out to be not so bad. Let's bring you guys in here as well. See if you guys can climb up the walls here. But in the meantime, let's push this way. Okay, let's go take out these things. It's a crazy time we live in, a wild time. Georgia says, Ragnarok, I want to hear it. Your opinion on the new DLC pricing of CA. Ooh, boy. You know, I haven't looked at it. I was listening to a little bit of what Legend was saying about it. I don't know. I mean, like, here's the thing. Like, the CA has kind of been exploiting the fact that the Warhammer player base, fan base, has kind of been willing to engage with this sort of practice, right? Like, I don't know. Like, to me, I think it kind of seems hard for anyone to like complain about the fact that they're raising the prices on the DLC when they've sort of cultivated this attitude, this expectation that you know, we're gonna sell you the same game over and over again, and then we're gonna keep adding on it and expecting you to pay. I don't know. What I'm trying to say is that CA is kind of like built this expectation within the fan base, and I think part of it, you know, the reason why they've been able to get away with it with Warhammer so much, without much pushback, is because of the way that Warhammer, the tabletop, is sort of put together, where it is a kind of thing where you're collecting all these different army pieces and things like that. So I think initially, you know, the Warhammer player base was kind of, you know, like used to that kind of thing a little bit, that kind of corporate practice, and maybe CA exploited that fact to some extent. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. I don't like the rising cost. Like I don't know, a lot of issues with CA's business practices, but I mean, at the end of the day, they're trying to make maximum profit. So I don't know. Evil Yoda says that. Nathan says, what poison? You mean critical thinking? No, I don't think that's what he was referring to. I think he was referring to more of a medical type procedure, something more along those lines. But anyway, I think I've said more than I probably should on that subject, and probably want to try and steer away from it a little bit. I don't want to derail the whole stream and go into all that sort of stuff. Georgie says, I feel that there's a core fraction of Warhammer Total War players that which pre-order everything no matter what. Tabletop players probably. Tabletop is so expensive. And Evil Yoda says, I don't think so. Yeah, Georgie, I agree with you. I think there's definitely a base of fans that will get all of the DLCs no matter what. You know, partly because of their love for the game, and partly because of you know, that sort of, you know, similar to the tabletop experience, right, where you want to collect all that stuff. But yeah, it's tough to see the direction that CA is going in for the Total War games. That the games continue to get more and more expensive, and we continually are put into positions as players where we're not necessarily getting the full experience unless we participate in the oh man, these guys are gonna be a bitch to deal with. Yeah, unless we pick up all the DLCs and stuff. I mean, you look at the, you know, if you were to just get into the Warhammer trilogy right now, right? If you were just gonna get into it and pay like full price for everything, then oh my goodness, what would that price be? It would be something pretty crazy. Georgia said at Evil Yoda, the dark side blinds you. Ah, the old dark side. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, you know, they tried to do it with they tried to do the same kind of thing with Three Kingdoms, right? And just the Chinese market did not put up with it. It is essentially what happened, which is why the game ended up being abandoned, right? Because the Chinese market didn't want to continually pay for perpetual DLCs, right? Kevin says plus a PC around $6,000. You know what? That's another really good point. Is that the games require you to have, you know, pretty competent PCs, and PCs are not cheap at all nowadays. That they, you know, this sort of hardware is not cheap by any stretch. Georgie says the historical fan base is not pre-ordering Pharaoh. If we trust Steam, it's not in the top 50 even on Steam sales. Oh, that's interesting. I'm glad you sort of took a look to see where it stands in the rankings, kind of thing, because that's kind of interesting. Most definitely. But yeah, you know, like you know, from what I've seen online of the reception for Pharaoh, it's been very lukewarm so far, right? That the community is not super excited for it necessarily. But yeah, I mean, and again, like the thing is, like Troy, it's, you know, another case of where they've CA has decided to take a game that's already been made and, you know, tweak it, change it, adapt it, and resell it, repackage it, and resell it. And I mean, like, that's the thing. Like, the Warhammer games aren't really different games. They're essentially, what do you call it? Essentially, it's expansions for the first game, right? Like, it's, you know, there's not anything fundamentally different from Warhammer 1 to 3. It's just, you know, you have more bells and whistles, more bits and pieces. And, you know, I think CA, because of the success of the Warhammer games, is kind of adapting that strategy for all of their games. And, you know, I'm really interested to see what happens when this second Three Kingdoms game finally comes around, because I really want to see what happens with the Chinese market, if they actually put up with it, and they actually sell a lot of the second Three Kingdoms game. But yeah, I get the feeling that Pharaoh is not only dead on arrival, but like dead before arrival kind of situation. Like, it's not oh shit, it's not looking super good for Pharaoh. But who knows? I mean, maybe the game will be good. I don't know. Because, I mean, the one great thing about the Warhammer games, you know, say what you want about the corporate practices, but the extra development time has really done wonders for the Warhammer series in general. You know, the games, if you look at the quality of mechanics and gameplay from Warhammer 1 to 3, there's a big difference, right? Like, the games have been vastly improved. So, there's that to consider as well. I probably shouldn't have brought those Way Watchers in, because they got murdered, but bringing the Cav in was a great idea. Let's just try and get through this without getting this guy killed. We just got a little bit more time to wait here. Who's got the most HP? Let's bring you guys out, and the rest of you guys just stay in there. But yeah, I mean, the thing is, though, CA probably should be pretty careful, because the last thing they want to end up doing is alienating their fan base, for one, and number two, they're gonna start seeing more and more competitors coming out. I mean, War Tales in a sort of way is a little bit of a competitor to Total War. I mean, I know it's, you know, a bit of a different genre, but there are definitely elements in War Tales that have a Total War feel to it. I mean, Bannerlord in some ways you could say is a competitor. Of course, you've got all of the, you know, a lot of the excuse me. Oh my goodness. A lot of the Paradox games. And then what is that game that's coming out? Is it Manor Lords game that's coming out? Yeah, Manor Lords is a medieval strategy game featuring in-depth city building, large-scale tactical battles, and complex economic and social simulations. Rule your lands as a medieval lord. The seasons pass, the weather changes, and cities rise and fall. Like, I'm really excited for this game. It doesn't have the same sort of scale as Total War, but the city building features really turned me on, and it does have Total War type battles, just not the same sort of scale as Total War. There was another game that came out fairly recently that Georgie says Knights of Honor 2 is a competitor as well. Georgie says we've had 0 major historical titles since 2015. Attila. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I like oh yeah, we're gonna erase this. I really like Three Kingdoms. The records mode. I think you could potentially argue that it is a shoot, a decent historical title. I was hoping that when we sacked it or erased this, that he would make it to our own territory, but unfortunately it's not the case. And though it looks like he's out of range of these guys, which this army I'm not looking forward to facing. But yeah, I mean, what I'm trying to get at is CA's got to be really careful, because if they continue down the same trajectory and the prices of the games continues to rise and they continue to alienate their players, and on top of that, if they fail to do anything really innovative with their newer games, then there's no guarantee that they're going to be around forever, right? So I think that CA should certainly pause and listen to their community and try and yeah, just try and
these are dark times.
take some of the positives from criticisms and just try and make sure that they're making these games so that people enjoy them, that people have fun, rather than necessarily just being 100% profit driven, right? Georgie says, although those are indie games, yeah, it's true, but I mean, that's a lot of game companies. Well, I mean, maybe not a lot, but oftentimes game companies do start off as an indie game, and then they'll develop a hit, and then all of a sudden they'll become like a massive studio. I mean, you look at the perfect example. I mean, maybe not necessarily an indie developer, but an independent developer, Larian Studios. From you look at where they started and where they are now, and where they're going to end up in the future, now that with the massive success that they've had with Baldur's Gate 3. So I mean, you got to start somewhere, right? I mean, I love the Total War formula. I just hope that they, continue to, evolve the games and, innovate. Like the really big thing is the innovation. Like there are so many aspects of warfare that there's no reason why the games can't be more engaging or more realistic or whatever, just or more mechanic driven, right? Like rather than just this same old.
My faith in you wanes. Sword Kadambra. Arbonis Elmchant.
How can I assist you?
Got rats to get rid of there. Probably this guy's gonna have to make his way up there to get rid of them. This guy's already moved. double check we're at war with everyone. Oh wait, that's not the what I'm looking for. I don't know that if there is any factions that we haven't actually met yet. You know, like it's getting to the stage in the campaign where we've pretty much met everyone. There might be like a couple of rogue factions here and there that we've yet to cross paths with.
How can I assist you?
But I mean, you know, like, here's the thing though, like, despite the high cost of the Total War games, like, if it's a game you're gonna enjoy, whether it's, you know, Total War Troy, Warhammer, you know, even Pharaoh, Total War Pharaoh, you know, if you enjoy the game, then, you know, like, the price, you know, like, any Total War that you enjoy, you're gonna put in at least tens of hours, probably hundreds of hours, and for a lot of people, even thousands of hours into these games. So, you know, when you consider the price in relation to the number of hours worth of entertainment that you're getting out of the games, it's, you know, kind of makes it or kind of puts it in perspective. Like you're still, you know, even though they're charging a lot for the games, you're still getting your money's worth, in my opinion, for the most part. But, I mean, I guess on the flip side of that, if you purchase a Total War game and it's not what you were expecting and it just feels like the same old thing and you're disappointed with, then, and, you know, you end up only playing it for 10-20 hours, then I can certainly see the complaint there, absolutely. But I mean, I think that's why you gotta be careful. Like, if you are gonna purchase one of the Total War games, make sure it's a genre or a period of time or history that you are really gonna enjoy, because otherwise, you know, you're just kind of wasting your money. Georgie says the DLCs are not worth that price, though. Yeah. No, I mean, you're not wrong, Georgie. It is a little bit taking advantage of the player base for sure. I don't know. I'd be curious to see what the you know, the cost in terms of development would be for each one of the DLCs. Like, what's the cost of the DLCs in relation to
Such a thing is impossible.
you know, their potential profit, their sale price. Georgie says if you calculate it percentage-wise. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like, when you consider what they're charging for the base game and then what they're charging for the DLC, it does seem a little bit unbalanced for sure.
Glade Lord, at your
I don't
service.
know that we're gonna be able to win this fight necessarily. Okay, all right. Apparently we can win it, and we can apparently win it really easily. I was a bit surprised to see the auto resolve so good there. Don't mind if I do.
Yuri fair.
But yeah, I think, like, I don't know. I mean, this is 100% speculation, but my guess is that CA is just they just want to sort of milk the last drips of milk from the community as Warhammer sort of reaches the end of its development cycle.
You need me?
Let's do here. Alright, if you move to here, hopefully... Okay, you know what? You can move down this way anyway.
With flowers.
I was gonna say just move here and then you can use the underway, but we can get to here, so it should come through this way. This area looks fairly open. Looks like it's been cleared out pretty good. Or at least, well, I guess we can't tell. We don't have agents in the area. Georgie says agree. Yeah, I think it's just a matter of them understanding that Warhammer's development days are numbered and kind of approaching the end. I mean, you know, having said that though, it could still drag on for another year or two, because it definitely I wonder if there's with this DLC, have they said anything about new areas of the map? Because it definitely looks like they're planning to fill this stuff in. But maybe that's another race. Is it Nippon? Is that one of the other races that could potentially be added to the game?
One with the forest.
Because it looks like shit. This is where we got attacked by Grimgor. We lost an army over here.
You're not right.
Freaking annoying. Well, we got this dude who's gonna probably take correct Varg, but I do want to get rid of this army since we've got the chance. Georgie says, I think they will do it. Yeah, most likely. It's not confirmed though. It definitely looks like we're getting alright, yeah, that's fine. Getting a little bit more added to the map. Oh, it's so tempting to, you know what, we should be able to raise it actually. And we can, come on, back this way, back this way. Alright, he didn't move at all. So we might be able to actually occupy it. Yeah, we can. Which is good, because we can merge some of these guys up. And use the global. Just go with these guys because they only take one turn. But yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting to see if they decide to do another fantasy Total War at some point. Because, I mean, I would not be shocked at all if they decided to do 40k Total War. Just because, like, number one, the 40k audience, from my understanding, is like the 40k fan base is even larger than the fantasy Warhammer fan base, as far as I know. So you've already got that core of people to start with. Plus you've got the you know, the core group that, you know, really loved these Total War games. So I think they'd be crazy not to take advantage of that. Like if they're able to, you know, create a fresh new experience that really that really captures sort of the mood and the essence of Warhammer 40k, then I think there's a good possibility that we probably will see it at some point. I don't know. I'm just a small-time bird lawyer. What the hell do I know? Alright, yeah, probably this army is going to backtrack and get rid of these guys, and then probably this army is going to make its way across here and try and clear out this area, which means this army can come down the coast here, which should work.
The forest is whispering.
And you just keep scouting here. We do have rats. Georgie says, I can't imagine 40k working as a Total War mechanically. Yeah, you know what, like, it would definitely present all kinds of challenges, but a lot of people said the same sort of thing about this game, about this series. So, it would certainly, I think it would be really interesting because it would force Creative Assembly to actually, you know, think creatively and come up with some new ideas and some new ways to approach the series. So I think that would be, personally, I think that would be a really good thing. But it would definitely present all sorts of challenges that they've never had to face, that they haven't had to face before in some of their other games. So it would make for, yeah, like I said, it would be interesting. It would certainly be interesting. See how it played out. George says, well, not quite in my opinion. Warhammer is a fantasy setting, not a sci-fi. Yeah. No, you're right. You're not wrong in that regard, for sure. But I mean, they've done
yes. Assyrian will
sort of gun warfare with mixed success. You know, when you look at Napoleon Total War and Shogun 2 Fall of the Samurai, like they've done a pretty good job with sort of you know, different types of weapon systems in those games. So who knows what they might be able to do. But I think
if the forest wills it.
But that's, yeah, I mean, that's the big thing, right? Would they be able to pull it off? Alright, there were other armies around here, but is this, okay, no. I don't know where the other armies got. I was thinking that Morn was in trouble, but he seems to have gotten out of the situation. For the time being.
All hail Kernos. Orders understood.
Can I offer assistance?
Got in here. Malice Darkblade. Or like Malice Pain in the Ass. Yeah, there's a lot of these dudes over here. I'm thinking that probably best that we bring Ragatok over here and get him combined with Morn and have those two armies work together. That's going to give us the best best strategic options, because if we leave them split up, they could potentially get isolated and overwhelmed. There's a lot of enemies over here, but the important thing is we want to get a little bit of a foothold here, so that rather than sending their armies across this way, they're sending our armies towards our settlements on this side. We want to try and mop this area up as quickly as, or as much as possible. We don't have to necessarily capture every single territory right away. We can kind of retake some of them later. But it's a pretty large, pretty wide frontier here. And we've got armies kind of scattered. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got 5, and a 6 army there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 armies, and then a 7th army. Yeah, I mean, we've got armies advancing on just about all our fronts here. All right, and yeah, these armies, we're going to merge them, I think. So we can probably do the old auto resolve here. And then this guy should be able to take 8 peaks, no problem. Look at this, we got a 3 build slot settlement. What?
These are dark times.
Crazy.
Pathways.
Crazy. Let's drop you into camp. Might lose a couple more units here, but like I said, we're gonna merge these armies. Yeah, I guess we'll part ways with the Blade Singers, that's fine. Just basically stick with the Stag Knights, and Way Watchers should be fine.
Make Ariel and Orion proud.
George says, see, it can prove me wrong. I don't see a sci-fi setting as a Total War title. Ooh, baby, 91,000. Don't mind if I do. But let's see. Yeah, who knows? And I mean, maybe, you know,
The
sugar.
mother goddess guides me.
Damn it. So we can't transfer these units and occupy this, so we'll just occupy this turn. And then I guess we transfer the units next turn. Can you get on force march? Cannot. Yeah, I don't know, Georgie. That could be also the opinion of CA. Like the CA may not actually want to go down that route. It's a possibility, but I think they would be crazy not to attempt it. I think it's a whole lot of potential. It's just a matter of they would have to step outside their comfort zone for sure. You know, just the same thing. Like I would love to see a World War II Total War. I think, but you know, again, that's a game where you've got to really stretch the mechanics, and you would have to really increase the size of maps and things like that. Like there's a lot of things that would need to go into a World War II type Total War. Even Modern Warfare. Modern Warfare would be pretty wild. No shortage of examples, but I don't know. You know, that's the thing. The other thing to consider is the Total War fan base looking for those types of things? And I mean, the big thing with World War II is there's already been so many games that have done World War II that it would be like, why would they want to have to compete with those games as well? Just stick to what they're good at, kind of thing.
I am a rune lord, not some smith.
And we okay, these are boats. Let's attack from this area. Georgie says they can always make another franchise for 40k. Yeah, you know what? That's true. That's true. That is true. Though I don't know, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but like some of the other ventures that CA's created, like some of their other franchises, they haven't done particularly well, have they? Georgie says World War I and World War II had battlefronts that stretched several hundred kilometers long, filled with trenches. Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. It would require a big leap forward in terms of probably both the engine required to run the game and also their sort of the scope of the games as well. So I didn't say it would be easy, but still I'd love to see it. Georgie says Alien Isolation has done well, I believe. Oh, okay. Yeah, see, I'm honestly not super familiar with their other stuff. I'm just mostly familiar with the Total War games. I don't think that there's anything in here that's gonna help this army, really, is there? Oh yeah, there is. Touched by Loak. Yeah, we'll go touched by Loak. That works. And I'll give you Tumpered Rieger. That works.
Lady of the Glade.
It's just Quiver and Shield of the Forest. Just already got Stand Your Ground. What else do we want to go? Deadly Onslaught, I guess. Alright, we want to make landfall here. Yeah, that seems good a place as any to land. Move on there. Fuck is this? Oh, okay. I'm like, where the hell did these guys come from? This is the these are the ritual armies finally showing up.
Proud son of Athelloran.
All right, he's good for now. How much movement do you have? How much movement do you have?
Orders. Glade Lord.
Alright, let's see if we can ambush one of these armies and just start picking them off one by one. Just to make this a little bit easier. If they do make it here, we've got a decent garrison there. Plus, we could always pop a general in there if need be.
Glade Captain
And
present.
you're bound for Lorder's army as well. But yeah, I think we're in. I think we'll be fine. It's just the 2 armies that we can see. Okay, there's a 3rd army there. Just 3 armies so far. See if any more show up. Alright, what do we have over here? Alright, keep on trucking. We'll just occupy. Another resource building. The new Hulk. What do we got? Want home in the bows. Okay. Looking good, looking good. Oh man, it's just such a nice feeling to have an entire area of the map just completely sectioned off. Alright, what are we looking at up here?
I have no time for this.
You gotta love when they put all the
Can I offer
miners
assistance?
together like that.
Tools of judgment
When they
ready.
get all the crap
Is
units,
that
when the AI is forced to start building crap stacks, it's a glorious thing. Glorious thing. Though they still do have
Pace.
some high level settlements over here, so I mean there's no
Guardian of the
reason
Deepwood.
why they
Stalker.
can't be recruiting
Treading silently.
better
That
units
is in
necessarily.
Silently.
Come around this way,
Guardian of
put
the
that this
Deepwood.
way,
Aye.
this way.
Yes. If the forest wills it.
Alright, I think we've
Who calls?
really hit the dwarves pretty hard over here. It's not looking like there's a whole lot of resistance, though. Could be resistance over here, hopefully not.
Reshaper of
But
forests.
come up here and scoop this, though. What kind of odds is it gonna give us here? Of course. Of course. Ooh, Shiza. That might be... Oh man, we've got... We've got Knights of the Realm too. Frack. I don't know, that that might be a little bit much for that army. Might need some help there. But help is a long way away. It's got 1, 2, 3 cities to take in the meantime. Darker.
They must
Just
fall.
wondering, should we bother with that city for now, or should we just come over and take some other ones? Or we could potentially come over here and take this. Though this army, theoretically, so this army hit this, this, and this. Make its way up the coast, and then get the ultimate. Yeah, I think... I don't know, that's,
A doomed dance.
it's a fight I'm not particularly... I wouldn't be looking forward to.
Ariel lights the way.
And I don't want her just sitting around doing nothing,
This dance must
waiting
wait.
for help there. So let's just take some other territory in the meantime. Temple of Cain should be definitely manageable.
Watching.
Yeah, and then this army, when it makes its way through here, can come in there and take that and continue moving north. But we're getting pretty close to the corner of the map there, which is nice to see.
Kernus, guide my hand.
All right, how are we gonna do
Highball.
this? Oh shit, we got
How
another
can I assist
army
you?
here. Son of a bitch. I think with Shadow Wolf here, Let's send
Going forth.
send Shadow Wolf, I think, through the let's use the world route. Send him.
Your request is reasonable.
Can we? We want to send him over here to the haunted forest. Beauty, beauty, beauty. Because we got a lot of activity over here. Should hopefully be able to take those guys on.
We fight.
All right, no losses.
Here we shall thrive anew. I share the forest's thoughts.
Forest Fury, like that. Does Locke's Blessing do? Sure, why not? Good enough. Alright, let's back over to Nagaron. A couple things here to finish up. Yeah, so how much movement do you have? Let's have you encircle the settlement.
What do you need?
Oh shit, is that army? Shit. That army's not in the settlement, it's sitting outside the settlement. Frackety frack. It's weird. Why all of a sudden is it Pyrrhic victory instead of a defeat?
At your service.
A little bit funny.
Fly, Kurnos!
I don't think he's gonna get reinforcements from that army though. I think he's a little bit too far away, maybe? Maybe not. Right, let's take this army out first. Beauty. Basically, no damage. This guy survived. Well, now we should be okay. Doesn't look like we're going to lose anything, though. Alright, good, good. Actually, what's in his army? I think it's just dragons and treekin. Just go stand your ground. It's fine.
Azray.
Okay. Is this? I guess this is the border. Yeah, this is the border.
Beginning my
Oh,
journey.
we can move there. Can you get into ambush?
Your orders
Beautiful.
are acceptable.
Georgie says, are we having a longer stream today? No, it's going to be another short stream. Probably just going to be like doing... hopefully I'll be back to a bit of more of a regular schedule now. I finally got my initial review out for Baldur's Gate 3, or my initial impressions, which took me basically the last couple of days to put together, just trying to organize my thoughts, and then actually, like, it took me like all day yesterday to like do the recording and edit the video, put all the different bits and pieces together. So it took me quite some time, but now that that's finished, I should be back to more of a regular, more consistent Total War schedule. But at the same time, I'm really I have been really digging Baldur's Gate 3, so I've been playing. I want to keep playing some more of that and just get more into the game, because I have some ideas for different videos and different types of videos for that, but I've got heaps of work to do because I've got a lot of ideas for Total War videos as well that I want to start putting together. So I mean, I want to stream as much as possible, but the best thing in terms of like channel growth, I think, is making interesting videos. So I want to try and focus on that a little bit too. I want to, you know, I don't know, making a second channel was maybe a bad idea, just in terms of like, you know, how much time I'm gonna have to be able to dedicate to everything. But yeah, I'm gonna be streaming more Baldur's Gate 3 on the old auto resolve channel tonight. So I'm gonna be I've been testing out some things with thievery, and I'm kind of exciting to see tonight actually if I can like completely wipe out a merchant's entire inventory. If I can steal things in a way that like I can scoop up everything without getting caught, which I think I'm gonna be able to. But yeah, I'm gonna put the hypothesis to the test tonight. Georgie says you'll get access to Pharaoh soon, I believe. Yeah, I mean, in terms of early access, I am low down on the totem pole, right? Usually get it once, you know, like the big YouTubers will get a hold of it first, and then the little guys will get it just sort of basically just before it ends up being released, kind of thing. But yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to giving it a little bit of a whirl, see how the game is. But yeah, I would suspect, I mean, fingers crossed that I do get access, but I would suspect that I'll get access to the Warhammer DLC before I get access to Pharaoh. I would suspect, anyway. I don't think she can level up anymore. She can't. These two can. Flint Fireforge says, Mr. Flint, what's going on, buddy? Thank you for putting up with my constant belly aching in our Discord chat there. I do appreciate you being able to put up with me. I can be a bit of a pain in the ass, to put it mildly. Flint says, Mr. Narok.
The forest is
she's leveled up too. How's your day going, Flint? You just about finished up work for the day? Gonna get into some more BG3 later on. Flint here is one of Baldur's Gate 3's #1 fanboys for sure. Loves the game, and I mean, it's hard not to love the game, to be honest. It's there's a lot of good stuff there, especially if you're into the whole fantasy genre, role playing, and all that sort of stuff, man. And I mean, you know, like I've said it before, like whenever we talk about fantasy Total War, that setting, the Forgotten Realms setting, Veyron, would be my #1 choice for a Total War fantasy Total War game. I would just freaking love it if they made a fantasy Total War set in the Forgotten Realms. My god, just, you know, one of the darker series for Forgotten Realms was the War of the Spider King, the War of the Spider Queen. 6-book series, all written by every book written by different authors, and with R.A. Salvatore sort of like overseeing the project, and it's dark, but it's good, and I think that series would make a freaking amazing sort of setting for a Total War saga, just set in the Underdark at Menzo Baranzan, and then the competing factions that are involved there. There's like a demon faction that tries and takes Menzo Baranzan by storm. It would yeah, it would do my heart good to see Dungeons and Dragons enter into the Total War scene. Fireforge says it's all good. I'm honestly trying to understand how you can dislike such a magnificent game myself. LOL. But yes, 40 minutes and I'll be heading home. Nice, nice. Yeah, you know what? I don't know. Like, I was talking to Wyvern privately a little bit about just sort of like, you know, like I love playing it, but like I get like a little bit of an uneasy feeling from it. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but there are certainly the presence of a lot of very heavy sort of like, you know, political undertones. You know, I don't want to go through the whole list here, but there's a lot of like pretty sort of heavy stuff that I don't know if you know, it's in there intentionally, or if it's, you know, they're trying to bring attention to it, or like the worst thing for me is if that they're treating this stuff sort of flippantly and not giving it this sort of not dealing with it in the sort of respectful way that should be dealt with. But there's certainly a lot of like, you could really start digging and bring up a lot of really heavy philosophical subjects and things like that, and you know, really scary stuff that are present in everyday life, or real life or whatever. But I mean, that's kind of one of the things I love about fantasy. I hate when people talk about fantasy and say, "Oh, I don't read fantasy, or I don't watch fantasy movies because I'm a realist. I don't, you know, I can't get into all this make-believe stuff." And I'm just like, fantasy is a means for looking into metaphors and you know, things that are present in everyday life and dealing with them in a way that's more accessible, I would say. I mean, like, you know, like, you know, like the, you know, for example, just, you know, the pursuit of absolute power. I mean, that's, you know, a big theme in Baldur's Gate 3, right? And you can definitely see that in real life. You know, this is, yeah, like, yeah, the fantasy setting, the setting itself is, you know, completely foreign, but they're exploring this sort of, this idea that is definitely present. Flint says, I agree with you there. It's meant to be an escape in a sense too. Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. It's a nice way to get away with all of the pressures and things we have to experience in everyday life, and just, you know, I mean, like the game says, role-playing. Like, it's a great way to, you know, experience your or explore your wild side, or explore your darker side without, you know, the real world consequences of doing so, or, you know, explore that pursuit of the good, doing the right thing and things like that. So yeah, I've always been a huge fan of fantasy. You know, and it's really exciting to see this game bring the Dungeons and Dragons Forgotten Realms world to life. I think they've done an exquisite job in doing that. Now, I don't know, it's interesting. One of the guys, I got a comment on my initial impressions video, basically my early impression review of the game, and he was saying that he just brought up how, you know, it's tough for him to get into it because of how different Dungeons and Dragons has changed from the initial like advanced D&D that he grew up with to where it is now in 5th edition. He said that, you know, it's tough for him to see how the world of Dungeons and Dragons has changed so much in just 100 years, you know, in-game lore anyway. But yeah, that's one of the things that he brought up, that is sort of yeah, like he's having a tough time immersing himself into the game because of how much has changed from the game that he knew as a kid. Flint says, "And slapping us in the face with a modern real-world politics sucks, and that is half the reason why things like Amazon, Lord of the Rings, and Disney Star Wars is so god-dang frustrating." Well, I mean, that stuff is in there in Baldur's Gate 3 in spades. It's in there. You're not for like the good thing about Baldur's Gate 3 though is that you're sort of allowed to sort of shape things in your own way to a certain extent, but there are certainly some heavy subjects that are broached in Baldur's Gate 3, 100%. Georgie says, "My girlfriend doesn't enjoy high fantasy such as Lord of the Ring, but enjoys low fantasy like Harry Potter, for example." Oh, okay, cool. Nathan says, "So do you prefer a really good hamburger or a really good hot dog?" I love freaking hamburgers, man. I'm addicted to them. I don't know if you guys have ever... It's a Canadian show, and it's a pretty niche sort of show, but I don't know if you guys have ever seen Trailer Park Boys. There's a gentleman in the show named Randy who he never wears a shirt, for one, so he's always walking around with his gut hanging out, and he's addicted to hamburgers. Actually, if I remember correctly, I think the way he's introduced on the show is that he's basically selling his body on the corner of a hamburger place for hamburgers that he will basically accept payment for hamburgers, provide services for hamburgers. But that's me, man. I love hamburgers. I actually had a really good burger last night. One of my favorites is a mushroom and Swiss burger. So you got like nice sauteed onions, nice sauteed mushrooms, and then Swiss cheese melted over top with a nice sort of almost like a garlic mushroom aioli on the bun. So freaking good. But I mean, I'm not opposed to hot dogs either, though. I don't eat them as often, but yeah, I like a good hot dog myself, you know, and especially those specialty hot dogs where you've got them dressed up, you know, like a Greek hot dog, or you know, or whatever, like you know, crazy toppings and stuff on them. Fireforge says, "Yes, hamburgers for sure. I make a couple different amazing burgers, to be honest." Yeah, man, there's no shortage of different types of burgers, man. There's, you know, this great thing about hamburgers. They come in all kinds of shapes, sizes, types, flavors, whatever, man. You can dress them up all kinds of different ways. I wonder what the history on hamburgers. I think we were talking about this one day on stream, and just trying to figure out what's the origin story of the hamburgers. When did they first show up? Because it's a brilliant invention. Actually, I saw this really cool video on YouTube somewhere. I think it was in Korea, or it might have been Japan. I don't know. They were like visiting, like basically like street food, like basically like their version of street food or fast food, I guess. And this place did the burgers in a way, so like they made the burger, they made all the special toppings, like they had all kinds of different types of toppings and stuff. But then the bun, so they would put it on the bun and put the bun together. It was a big bun, and then they would put it in this machine that turned it into like basically encased it and closed it. And then the machine, it was almost sort of like think of like a waffle maker, but like for burgers, and it made sort of like a crispy bun that I think they were called like UFO burgers or something. It was so freaking cool, and they looked so freaking good. yeah, some pretty wild stuff, but
Stalking. Silent.
I don't know. Flint says it depends. There's several different cities throughout the country that claim to have invented the burger, including a little town here in is it Wisconsin or yeah? LOL. Vacoma says I'll sneak around here. Vacoma, what's cracking, brother? What are you up to today, man? What game have you been getting into? You playing more Baldur's Gate 3, or are you back into some more Warhammer, or playing some more Diablo? What is it, Diablo 4 now? What the fuck are we doing with this guy? What's going on here? What is going on here? God, there's little rat agents all over the place here. Alright, just keep making our way to this. Flint says, yes, Wisconsin. Yeah, I always get confused with my my American states and
I think not.
and locations. God, that's something I would really love to do, man, is freaking get like a couple of buddies together and just road trip across the US.
Orders.
So many, like oh man, so many cool places to visit. Just either, it could be anything, just like a standard road trip in a car, or get like an RV. RV would be pretty wild. Do like a full-on RV trip, or probably the most fun would be a motorcycle trip. Just get a couple guys together and motorbike across the US. Would be a wild time. I know there's like people who have done sort of like the baseball thing, who have like I remember reading about a story of a guy and his son and just spending an entire summer going from city to city and watching all of the baseball games, like getting to visit all of the different baseball stadiums would be super cool, man. Would be a really great experience. All right, let's double check we're at war with everyone still. Where's the thing? Looks like we're good. And I think I've moved everyone that we're gonna move here. Oh wait, no, we got a couple folks that haven't moved. Flint says if you don't make a stop in Milwaukee, I'd legit cry. Oh man, Flint, that would probably be the first and the last place I visit. That would definitely be on the route. But God, I don't know. Like, the thing is, like, man, they're making it more and more of a pain in the ass to travel nowadays, especially if you're traveling by plane. But like crossing the border and whatnot, starting to become somewhat of a dicey proposition. Unless, I guess, you're a fracking illegal immigrant. In that case, it's a free-for-all kind of thing. Nathan says, I'll be honest, one of the reasons I enjoy listening to Rag is because most of my family lives in extremely northern Wisconsin, and their accent is almost like yours. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird because when I go back home to Nova Scotia and visit Nova Scotia, they tell me that I talk like I'm from Ontario now. But people here in Ontario tell me that I have sort of like a weird accent. And then, I don't know, like serving, like over the years serving, people have sort of like said they detect a French accent, which I think is completely and utterly absurd. I don't think I sound at all like I'm French. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's sort of like an in-between accent, but certainly a Canadian tinge to it. A bit of a, especially when I listen to myself on like a recording or something, I'm like, oh my gosh, my voice is so bland, so monotone. Flint says, "Oh, no kidding, Nathan. How far up? Because I also have family, like, property up there as well." I don't know what's happening with these buildings, why they're getting damaged. I think it's because agents are damaging them, maybe? Yeah, it must be these agents damaging the buildings. It's a little bit obnoxious, but... I mean, we can let them repair on their own, but... I don't know, my OCD... needs to, needs to repair them. I can't help myself. And this is going to drive my OCD nuts, because we've got the little icon here indicating that we can build, that we need to build here, but the game does not allow us to do so. So that's gonna that's gonna drive me absolutely mad. Oh shoot, the end turn, I didn't even mean to. Anyway, I think we did everything that we needed to before the end turn. I'll be right back, guys. I just need to run to the washroom. This tea and my field of greens is going right through me. I'll be right back. What the hell is this? Right. No problem. Flint, Nathan, are you guys football fans? I know football is pretty huge down below the border, or south of the border. I mean, we've got a lot of NFL fans up here in Toronto as well. I would say that other parts of Canada are still more into the CFL. Bollocks. Oh, man, I really don't want to fight this battle. Really don't want to. Is this guy... How is he? Oh, he's on force march. Oh, son of a bitch. You know what I think happened here is I think they separated our two armies. Maybe. I don't know. Nathan says that Flint, so like the Chippewa Falls and Eau Claire area, more so Chippewa Falls and New Auburn. Chippewa Falls just sounds like it's an awesome place. Flint says, okay, my land as well, more northeast, but still cool. Yeah, football season, I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of damage my Miami Dolphins do this year. I'm kind of pumped for it, or at least getting kind of pumped. I mean, I'm a lot more excited for the hockey season, to be honest. I love the moves that my Montreal Canadiens have been doing in the off season. Just the new management has been, just for the most part, just really on the ball. Gomez says big guns against you. Yeah, it's not looking particularly good. Not gonna lie. We do have decent amount of winds of magic. The reinforcements are gonna be here right away. But yeah, Vekoma, I'm not feeling super optimistic. Also, we're in forced march apparently. I think there were 2 armies here. If this is on the area of the map where I think it is, and I think what happened was one army's sitting in the settlement and the other army is outside the settlement, and I think what happened was they surrounded the settlement and then attacked the army inside it. Or surrounded the settlement, isolated the army outside, attacked it, pushed it away, and then attacked this. So I think I should have, like the previous battle that came up, I should have fought that one first before doing this one. Flint says, "Oh yeah, Reg, big Packers fan here, as I should be in this state." LOL. Yeah, that's true. Flint says, "Ugh, the Habs, I'm sorry." LOL. Who do you cheer for in terms of hockey? I'd be interested to know. Who's Wisconsin's hockey team? Or Milwaukee? Wisconsin? Yeah, I should have been able to guess the whole Wisconsin football. Yeah, or the whole Packer, being a Packers fan, should have figured that one out on my own. Oh my god. Oh my god. Should have maybe let the trees absorb the initial assault here. Just charge them, see if we can make a mess of things here. And you guys get back in the air because we got Slayers coming around. Flint says, oh, sorry, I read that already. Yeah, love my Montreal Canadiens. I get when the Canadiens are in the playoffs, it just completely takes over my life. I end up those fucking Slayers. End up calling in sick to work and all kinds of shenanigans. This is not looking good. There's just too fracking many of them. This guy's getting separated a little bit, and we can't isolate them enough. Flint says, well, since we don't have NHL, we have the Admirals in the AHL, and I love them, and so generally support the Nashville Predators because the Ads are their prime team. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, like back home in Nova Scotia, they don't have... for fuck's sake, this guy's running. They used to have an AHL team, but now they only have a junior team. And so, on the East Coast, you're basically either a Habs fan or a Leafs fan, pretty much. I mean, there's a few... few deviations from that, but for the most part, you're either one of the good guys or one of the bad guys. And good guys, obviously, are the Habs fans. Oh, man, yeah, this is not going well at all. Fracking dwarves, man, I fracking hate them. I should have fought the initial battle so that we could, at the very least, withdraw from the fight. But at the same time, we could have worn them down here a bit so that this army would have a little bit of a more manageable fight. But what we got to do is we got to get these dragons back in the air and see if we can get some breath attacks down. Try and use those. But I'm just trying to neutralize their guns as well. Because the guns obviously are a big problem. The Slayers. Let's drop a breath attack over here. I mean, ideally we want to keep everybody together, but it's not working out sort of that way. He's breaking again. Back here. We're not even going to use up all of our wins. Yeah, the fact that this army is in force march too is not helping the situation. Trying to remember where this is on the map. It's where I think it is. I think I understand what's happening here. What happened? So one of the things that sort of annoys me about the game is that when the AI attacks you, it doesn't give you like necessarily like you don't see. Sometimes the attacks just pop up. Like, you don't actually see what the overall picture is, so it's kind of hard to sometimes make the best decision. The shit thing about fighting dwarves, too, is that they don't ever withdraw. They pretty much fight to the death. Georgie says, have you been to the States, Rag? I have. Years ago, I went down for a football game in Buffalo. So I've been to Buffalo, and then I've flown through the States a couple of times. Gone through, just stopped over in Miami and Washington are the two stopovers that I've had. But aside from that, I think that's pretty well it. Oh shit! They killed our general there. Son of a bitch. Yeah, this is not looking good. Army lost, kicking in. Bit of an annoyance. Sucks to lose such a high tier army in terms of, you know, how long it takes to recruit these guys. Look, they didn't really lose a whole lot either. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is where I think it is. George says, "Wow, you are a traveler." Well, not really. I mean, like I've been blessed to have the opportunity to travel once or twice in my life, but not as nearly as much as I would love to. Like I've been almost coast to coast to Canada. Like I've been as far as basically the Athabasca Glacier out in Alberta. I've never been to BC. I had the opportunity. I'm really kicking myself because I had the opportunity one weekend when I was living out in BC or in Alberta for the summer, out in Calgary. I had the opportunity to go to Vancouver one weekend, but I wasn't able to get it off, get the time off work, so I ended up not going, and I really regret it. Yeah, it's exactly where I thought it was. And that's exactly what happened. They were able to isolate the two armies. Man, you gotta be shitting me. Ah, shoot. I shouldn't have controlled large army here. Damn it. But yeah, I've been to Finland. I went out to Finland for a little while. Been almost coast to coast in Canada. So I've spent a bit of time in most of the places in Canada, and then just like I said, Buffalo in the States, and then I've been to the Dominican Republic, Jamaica, and Mexico. So I mean, I've traveled a little bit, but not nearly as much as I would have liked. I used to date a girl who was like, she was really really well traveled. Like she'd been like all kinds of wild places. Anyway. Yeah, I really screwed up here. I should have fought that first fight. Now we're forced in a situation that really kind of sucks. Maybe we'll fight in the trees here. Probably be best to try and negate their range advantage. Let them come to us, and use the cav to try and get rid of their artillery if we can, and have the dragons support as well. In the meantime, just heal up a bit. Flint says, I'm the opposite. I have zero interest in traveling much at all, and when I do, it's for fishing reasons. LOL. Well, nothing wrong with the fishing reasons. I don't know. I mean, like, I like, there's no place like home, you know, like you know, the saying, you know, is such a truism, right? So I mean, there's nothing wrong with you know, just enjoying you know, the comforts of home and everything. And I mean, the more the world goes completely mad, the less I want to travel nowadays. You know, it definitely makes traveling, the idea of traveling, a little bit more of a deterrent. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, on the face of it, there's a lot of places I would love to visit. I mean, Italy, Rome, a lot of places in France I wouldn't mind seeing. Trying to think. Egypt, obviously, like, oh my gosh, Egypt would be a dream. But I don't know. I don't know how things would be necessarily with like political situation and things like that. Like that's the thing you gotta worry about too, like with traveling nowadays especially. And then you gotta get into the you know, safety concerns, things like that. Like a lot of things to consider. And just, I don't know, like the thing is, there's so many places I'd love to see, but just the sheer pain in the ass that traveling can be. This is another thing I hate about the game, is freaking units getting stuck. Drives me freaking crazy. Like, these guys just get stuck in there and then they get completely screwed. Hopefully they rally. But yeah, Flint, my brother and my father are big fishers and hunters. I mean, my dad more of a hunter than a fisher, though he does do a fair bit of fishing. But my brother is constantly fishing. Like, that's literally all he does in his free time. Like, when he's not out fishing, he's like tying his flies and everything, and just you know, getting his gear ready for fishing. And then pretty much his weekends are all spent fishing. And all of his spare time, like his vacation time, is to go fishing. He's pretty dedicated, man. Pretty dedicated fly fisher. And he's like, I don't know, always getting involved with like these different fishing courses and whatnot. Like, I'm just like, my God, man, you spend so much time fly fishing. Surely you must have it down by now. Alright, see if we can take out these artillery pieces here. Ragatalk says, if you decide to travel to Norway, feel free to hit me up. Ah, man, that would be freaking awesome, man. Norway's another place I'd love to visit, the Scandinavian countries. Or more of the Scandinavian countries. Everyone really raves about the quality of life in those places, so I would certainly love to experience that to some degree. What was I gonna say? Yeah, you know what? Another place that's on the top of my list is Iceland. I think Iceland would be super cool to visit. Just, you know, the raw, visceral sort of nature would be pretty cool. Seeing that, like seeing a volcano up close, would be pretty wild. And then on top of that, Iceland is the home of Snorri Sturluson, who, if you guys don't know, was a Viking poet, and pretty much, you know, like a lot of what we know about the Vikings comes out of Snorri's work. The what is it called? The Heimskringla and the Prose Edda, I think, are his two works. And actually, Tolkien drew a lot of his inspiration for Lord of the Rings from Snorri's works, from the Viking sagas, which is kind of cool. So you can actually visit Snorri's home in Iceland. because he was also Snorri was also not only was he a poet, an epic poet, and sort of like chronicler of Viking history to some degree. He also, I think he was also governor or something of Iceland, maybe governor or something. I don't know. You guys just stay in reserve there. Flint says, I'm not quite that dedicated yet. I still spend more time on video games, lol. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. I guess, you know, in a way, that's, you know, his dedication to fishing is sort of, you know, I have the same sort of dedication, but with video games myself. Regatok says, I've been to Iceland, was pretty nice. And Regatok, he was not Viking top, right? Pretty sure he was a Christian, and he wrote that stuff way after the Viking era. Yeah, he's coming like, I think he's like 12 or 1300, basically, sort of like. But you're right, he was a Christian, though. Like a lot of the Vikings. Oh shit! How did we get you guys stuck over here? A lot of the Vikings did convert to Christianity eventually. But yeah, I don't think he was definitely not Viking tough for sure. And probably, you know, calling him a Viking is probably, as you pointed out, probably not accurate necessarily. Okay, we still do have some cav left, so let's get you guys around here. Heal up these dudes. Heal there. Alright, guys, just come over here. Trees are helping soak up some of the damage from these ranged units.
Trample them!
With these Oregon guns. But yeah, I mean, Viking era, I don't know, I wouldn't be able to tell you really when it started, but like I would say probably like somewhere in the range of 800 AD to, oh shit, get out of there, get out of there, get out of there. 800 AD to 1100 AD, basically sort of the height of the Viking Age. And yeah, by the time Snorri is writing, it's the Viking Age is sort of well past. But still, his poems and his chronicles are kind of what gives us his saga. It's kind of what gives us a lot of what we know about the Vikings today. So I think without him, I think he's really, really important author. And like the thing is, Tolkien praises him to the point where Tolkien was of the opinion that he thought that Snorri's works should have been taught in schools rather than Shakespeare, that they were more gripping stories and things like that. But yeah, a lot of the Lord of the Rings, like even just like some of the names of the characters and stuff like that, and you know, like Gandalf the Grey is really sort of like almost like very reminiscent of Odin, I guess. Let's have you guys come over here. These fucking range units. Ragatalk says the Christians really love burning books. So sad we nearly have nothing left, and what little we have has a heavy Christian tint. And Ragatalk says Tolkien was a smart man. Yeah, I love reading Tolkien stuff. So good. Really interesting too. His oh shit, you guys get over here as well. His friendship with C.S. Lewis is kind of interesting also. And just kind of some of their debates, because initially Lewis wasn't Christian and ended up converting eventually. a lot to do, and a lot of that had to do with Tolkien's influence on them. Like, apparently they used to have, really long walks and really interesting sort of debates on Christianity and stuff like that. But you're right, Regatalk, you're not wrong. It is a real shame that the Christians burnt books like mad. It's a crime against humanity in a lot of senses. Like book burning, just one of those awful things. Just erasing a people's entire history. And like, especially here in North America, you look at the people who lived here in North America before before the Europeans arrived, and it's just like there's almost nothing left. Like their history is like totally erased. But I mean, though, the other thing is too, like, I think the Vikings, like, their traditions, they weren't necessarily writing a lot of stuff down either. I don't know. Dave C says, greetings, everyone. Dave, my boy, what's going on, man? We got, I don't know if he's still in the house, but we've got a Packers fan in the house. Dave here is a Chicago Bears fan. The Bears. Record Talk says, nearly nothing left in South America after the Spanish. There was very little to begin with, no. Shit, that breath attack did not work out quite the way I had envisioned it. This is not going super well. What the hell was I gonna say? But yeah, in terms of the South America, I think there was a lot of books and stuff like that that were destroyed by the Christians, which is again, terrible crime against history. Flint says, "Oh God, no." Yeah, I was just gonna say, don't the Bears and the Packers have a pretty intense rivalry? Oh man, how are you feeling about the season coming up, Flint? What's your opinion on Aaron Rodgers leaving the team and going to where Rodgers is gonna play in New York this year? Is that right? Rodgers is a Jet now. Nathan says, "Hey Dad, after the stream, can you take us all out for some poutine, Montreal bagels, and maple syrup booze?" Dude, that's the way to do it, man. We can't. Oh my gosh, Montreal is one of my favorite cities in the world to party in, man. It's just such a great city, and some of the top tier, some of the best adult entertainment in the world. Some of the most talented dancers. But God, man, it's been such a long time since I've been to Montreal. My gosh, it's been years now. But yeah, I've had some fun times in Montreal. Such a great city, man. If you can put up with the Frenchies, though. Flint says more than intense. Uh-oh. Da Bears. I love those old videos from Saturday Night Live with Da Bears. Freaking hilarious. Though a lot of the old Saturday Night Live sort of stuff, there's some stuff you wouldn't be able to get away with nowadays. Everyone's pretty sensitive about certain topics and whatnot. But yeah, who was Chris Farley and who else was in those? The guy from Cheers was in some of them. Mike Myers, I think, is in some of the skits. Nathan says, Montreal legit sounds fun, except the adult entertainment. Never really cared for strip clubs. I'm a good Christian man. Nathan, man, you're one of the good guys. One of the good guys. I just, I'm I'm just a sucker for, an angel with broken wings. You wanna help them all. You wanna get them out of that situation, right? But yeah, it's been a long time since I've been to a strip club. Really long time. But yeah, in my younger days, used to get into a bit of trouble. Too much trouble. But it says, Rogers is a princess and the Jets can have him. A lot of unknowns with the team this year, obviously, but trying to stay positive till cleats are on the field. Oh, man, I think we're gonna decline the attack here. Unless lightning strike changes something. Catching him in the underway, but Orion here, we should probably heal up before we take this on. One of my favorite things to do is fuck. Alright, let's not control large army. That'll give us an opportunity. We got a lot of wins here, so we should be able to win this. It's just a matter of getting these dragons healed up a bit. Yeah, so my buddy, he's Cleveland's Browns fans, but anyway, we sometimes get onto the topic of quarterbacks and who are the greatest quarterbacks and this and that or whatever, right? And so with with Rodgers, I always he hates Rodgers. He doesn't think Rodgers is a good quarterback at all. So I always get him going by like telling him how much better Rodgers was than Brett Favre, and that Rodgers was the best quarterback that the Packers ever had, and start talking about how Favre's got the record for interceptions and everything. And I don't know, he gets so mad. He gets so mad because he doesn't like Rodgers at all. How do we want to do this? I think let's let them come to us. There's no point in rushing them. They don't have artillery or anything for us to get rid of. Let's let them come to us and heal up the dragons for now. The cav, I'm just gonna put in reserve over here. Try not to use them too much until we need them. These Way Watchers, I'm not gonna be able to do much at all with them, actually. Let's put them back there. You guys are all in the air. We got another. All right.
Ever ready.
Ever ready.
Ever ready. For Athel Lauren.
Deep wood infantry.
Flint, who's your quarterback going into the season? Just out of curiosity. Nathan says, Rag is the I can fix her kind of man. Yeah, exactly. These poor girls, they've been through so much. I want to see them back on their feet. Marcus says, good enough to beat my Cowboys. Oh, man. Cowboys, goodness gracious, they're... yeah, they are moving forward, I think. I don't know, Cowboys, it's gotta be tough to be a Cowboys fan because there's always these massive expectations, and they seem to just sort of fall short of the expectations at times. Dave says, man, YouTube has some great 80s NFL playoff games, so many great teams. Oh man, yeah, 80s football, I feel like football back then was a lot more competitive, like modern football, it seems like there are like a handful of teams that just completely dominate, and everybody else is kind of like, I mean, I guess you could say the same thing about 80s football, but it was a lot more physical or more violent. I don't know. I mean, not that football is not still violent and still physical, but there have been certain rule changes since the 80s that have kind of changed the game a little bit. Marcus says, yep, win the big games and lose the easy ones. It's tough. It's tough. I mean, the NFC, man, the NFC, there's some tough competition in there. I mean, you got the Eagles, obviously. You got the 49ers. My brother's a big 49ers fan. You also got who else is in the NFC that's a danger?
Swiftly.
Stand over here.
Dickwood mend.
I mean, the Packers always seem to be there,
As you
or at least competitive. That was crazy though that the Packers missed the playoffs there last year.
battle ready.
Rodgers, you could argue Rodgers kind of lost the game for them. Nathan says that, Marcus. Howdy, brother. Haven't seen you in a bit. Hey, you sure do have a purty mouth.
Waiting orders.
Oh, that crazy Marcus.
Forehead
Marcus says, hey, howdy there, partner. Good to see you, my man. And by the way, you sure do got a purty personality. Let's see if we can isolate this dude. I'd really like to kill Gorst, but we don't want to drop down there and get mobbed by the rest of the army. But if this guy's going to be isolated, we might as well take him out. Since he's in the air, take out their ranged units. The thing I'm worried about here is Orion getting mobbed. We can back him up with the cav, but I don't, at the same time I don't want to lose the cav either.
Eager for battle.
We got to. I want to get these guys healed, but we also do want to make use of our dwellers below at some point.
Fear if you are. Attack.
But yeah, I think football, the real wild football, I think you got to go back to the 70s, man, for the real crazy stuff.
Fear the Deepwood.
Or maybe even before that, too, because of... oh, shit.
I am reborn.
Oh, shit.
Armed and ready.
My archers.
Son of Kronos, for the
Let's use
glades.
that.
Issa wills it.
Cavalry. As you say.
I don't know what use you guys are going to be. Regatuck says Orion can take them on his own with a couple of supporting dweller casts. You know what? That's a good point.
Orion.
So we're a little bit worried about these Blood Knights could be problematic. But let's just try and get Gorst down. Once Gorst is down, we can bring these guys back and we'll just fight together. We've also got the breath attacks to support as well.
Smash them. Ride them down.
Destroy all.
Destroy. Oh, let's just drop this down. We'll do a little bit of damage to them there.
The woods. With
Got a bit of damage on them there. Did we kill Gorsty? I think we killed him. Alright, just get out of there. And make your way back this way. Yeah, Ryan seems to be holding up pretty good so far.
annihilate all. Lord of the hunt.
Ragatalk says not looking good for Cav though. Yeah, I think once this initial engagement is over, I'm gonna try and pull them away from there, and at least try and save them. Yeah, see, this is the downside to obviously the downside to auto resolving a lot is the armies end up getting the crap knocked out of them. You just slow them down. It'd be nice if you came back, but it's not crucial. Though, where's the rest of them? Okay, they're there. Alright, let's, is it too early for one of these?
As you say. Orders understood.
Put one of these down. Do a breath attack. Alright, and let's just pull Cav back to the absolute corner there. There we go. That little burst of magic really cleared them out quite a bit. Give yourself a heal. Oh, we do have a whatchamacallit there too. Jabal says, "Let's go, Rag. How are you? How's the stream going so far?" So far, so good. We've taken a couple of couple of losses here. We lost a couple of armies to the dwarves.
Battle ready.
Fracking dwarves are such a pain in my ass. But things are going pretty good. We're just, you know, it's just a matter of time before we conquer the map, really. But occasional setback here and there.
For my lady!
Protectors of the
You guys stay behind just in case we need you, which we shouldn't.
Grim Reaver.
Hawk's talon hundreds!
But yeah, Shabal, good to see you, man. How's your day going?
Moving swiftly.
Just get the birds out of there. Just let the dragons do most of the work here. I mean, it'd be good if we can isolate them one or two at a time
Orion!
and continue to
Fear the deep wood.
heal. Dave says, I gotta admit, the Cowboys made, in my opinion, a lopsided trade when Jimmy Johnson fleeced the Vikings in the Herschel Walker trade for a motherload of draft picks. Yeah, that reminds me of remember the Ditka trade for the draft pick to get Ricky Williams, the #1 overall draft pick? That's another one that was a little bit questionable. But yeah, I mean, football. Ah, man, I love football. I used to get into it like really huge. I used to like to the point where I would watch all of the preseason games, and well, preseason games for the Dolphins anyway. But yeah, I love football. The great thing about football is the history. One of those sports with really interesting, really rich history for the most part. I guess most sports are that way though too. Like a lot of sports have really interesting history. Ragged Talk says sport would be so much more interesting if it was just local teams without buying players, people moving to play, etc. Yeah, you know what? That's. I mean, like European football, like. All of the different leagues, like the Premiership, the Spanish League, the Italian League, all that stuff. It's pretty wild, the business side of things. But I mean, it's the same thing over here. I mean, the way that you move players around is a little bit differently with trades and stuff like that. You don't quite purchase players and things like that. But yeah, one of my good buddies, like his chief criticism about hockey now is that it's just. You're never talking about, like, the thing that you always bring up when talking about hockey, like how good teams are, is you're just talking about contracts and whether or not they can fit players under the salary cap and things like that. Like, it's not about, you know, necessarily the team dynamics and things like that. It's just a matter of, you know, talking about, oh shit, we used up all our magic already. Son of a bitch. Yeah, like the big thing with the modern hockey is the contract situations. Like, teams have to be so conscious about, you know, making sure that they don't end up getting bad contracts. Dave says it definitely set up the 90s Cowboys dynasty. That 90s Cowboy dynasty was crazy, man. I remember watching those Super Bowls when they played against the Bills. And who else did they play against in those Super Bowls? But yeah, I mean, like, let's get this guy out. He's in bad shape. And this guy too. These guys out. That are in bad shape. Get out of there. And Orion can drop down another one of these. Also, fuck, I hate how it cancels things like that. But yeah, I mean, sports are big business, and Ragged Talk, I do agree with you. That's definitely an interesting take for hockey, or for sports in general, is the, you know, if it was local teams, it would certainly make things interesting. Don't you fucking kill this dragon. think we got him out of there. You can get back in there. I mean, you kind of, to some degree, you get that with like some of the junior leagues. At least you do here in Canada with the junior hockey. Like you'll have like a lot of local guys come up on a team together or whatever. So it does still have a little bit of that aspect, but definitely not in the pros. Like the pros, it's just all business. Who can get the best players and who can afford to keep them and all that sort of jazz. Jabal says, okay, it also happens sometimes. Can't always win, and I'm fine, thank you, just waking up. Ah, good. Yeah, Shabal, we're talking a lot of sports. We were talking about political stuff earlier, oddly enough. And now we've gotten into a little bit of sports talk. I don't know what you guys have for what the big sports are down there in Israel. Dave sees, does European football have free agents, so to speak? So my understanding is the way that it works when you transfer players in football, it's like, so like the football players have their contract, right? But basically teams will buy and sell players from one another. Like if you want someone on, if someone has a player that you want on your team, you offer them like a certain amount of cash for that player, and that's how they're transferred. So yeah, it's called a transfer, where you just basically, you're just paying straight, you know, rather than like, you know, okay, you've got this guy, I've got that guy, let's, you know, exchange these guys. It's like, no, it's straight buying and selling the players, which I guess it's a little bit more direct. But yeah, I would follow. I would love to follow soccer, because soccer was always, like, European football rather, because that was always my sport growing up. Like, I love the game. It's just such a beautiful game, but the time difference for one makes it a little bit tricky to follow it. But the other thing is that there's so many leagues that it makes it really hard to follow. That it's like, you know, do you follow the Premiership, or do you follow the Bundesliga, or, you know, do you follow the French league or the Italian league or the Spanish league or whatever? And then of course you've got Champions League, where, you know, all of the best players, all the best teams are playing. And then on top of that, you've got Europa League as well, which is sort of like the second tier of European teams. And then, I mean, each league has like multiple cups to win. I mean, like the Premiership, you've got the Premiership title, and then you've got the FA Cup. I don't know, I think it's still called the FA Cup, and then you've got like the League Cup or something. Like all kinds of wild stuff. Oh man, I don't want to lose a treeman, but I also don't want to fight this. Man, all right, we won't control large army. Just we can destroy them individually. They do have some dangerous stuff in here. Bone Giants, Necrosphinx, and these guys are going to be on cats as well, and then Bone Giant and Artillery. Second army's not as bad. Regatalk says, and then you got the World Championship. Yeah, exactly. It's there's a lot to it. It's hard to keep track of it, so it becomes a little bit of a deterrent. Whereas like the North American sports, like, you know, hockey, for example, you just, you know, it's super straightforward. You've got a regular season games, you know, a regular season set of games. The top half of teams go into a playoff, and the playoff is just a knockout round, and boom, that's it. You know, you got one champion. Whereas like, you know, the European football, like you've got like a whole slew of what do you call it, trophies that you can win. Which is why, like, the English teams, like, they're always, you know, trying to, what is it, like the Triple Crown they're trying to do, where they win win all of the trophies that are available and stuff like that. Ragged Talk says cross-country skiing is where it's at. Hey man, I don't know if you're joking or if you're serious, but cross-country skiing actually is a lot of fun. A lot of fun. I remember the year we got skis for Christmas, and it was like growing up when I was a kid, and it was so much fun, man. So much fun. Alright. Let's go for that dude first. Dragons, just provide support with the dragons, I think. We're not dealing with any, you know, really like crazy range units. I mean the bone giants to some extent, but it should be manageable. Oh shoot. Just stay put. Just try and stay healed. And try and take out their big guns. But yeah, the key is that we want to get through this without losing anybody. Dragon Talk says Summer Olympics is depressing to watch. Norway barely gets any medals ever. Then Winter Olympics comes along and it's suddenly fun. Yeah, I've always thought Winter Olympics were a lot more fun than the Summer Olympics, to be honest. I think you make a good point. Just funner events and stuff. Also, same thing with Canada. Canada always does much better in the Winter Olympics than they do in the Summer Olympics. Oh man, there used to be an old Commodore 64 game that my brothers and I used to play, and it was so much fun. It was a you had the Winter and the Summer Olympics, and I would say the Winter Olympics again were like way more fun than the Summer Olympics. Like they had all kinds of cool events in there, man. Like they had the bobsled, ski jump. There was like I don't know what it's called, but like basically like the triathlon or something where you're skiing, and I guess maybe it's not a triathlon, or I think it's a biathlon where you're skiing, right? But then you stop to like shoot at targets or whatever. That was a lot of fun. What else was in that game? Although even the figure skating was a lot of fun. Oh man, they don't make games like they used to. That's for sure. Back in the air. But yeah, I remember the Summer Olympics though, like being like the way that the game was constructed and the way that the you would do the actual events. Like I remember the Summer Olympics being a lot more exhausting. Like it was all with like a joystick, and the Summer Olympics, like the swimming events and stuff, were just like really really tough to do. Just weren't quite the same level as fun as the Winter Olympics. Dave says, hey, I had a Commodore 64. Good times, LOL. Oh man, Commodore 64 was like a revolution for my brothers and I, because like you could exchange games with your friends, right? Like on the old floppy disks. You could you know, so you had access to like all kinds of games. You know, it was just sort of mind-blowing coming from like Nintendo or whatever, where like you're limited, you know, by what you can you know, by the cartridges and whatever. And it was just, you know, such a such a change to have that added variety. Shabbat says, in a conversation about politics, I can talk to you until tomorrow, but unfortunately in a conversation about sports, I can contribute less to the conversation. Personally, I can occasionally watch a little American football, but here most people like to watch soccer, even though when it comes to sports, we are not good. Jews are not good at sports, even though we have decent basketball team. Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. I wonder why that is. I wonder... I don't know. Interesting. Dave says, Toys R Us had quite a selection of games. I played a ton of 7 Cities of Gold. Oh, you know, I've never heard of that game. One of my favorite games for Commodore 64, and I even featured it on the channel when I hit like a milestone. Like, I can't remember, maybe like 500 subs or something. But I did just like a playthrough of this old Commodore 64 game called Defender of the Crown, and it was oh my gosh, a precursor, basically a precursor to Total War, but super fun game, man. See if we can maybe end this battle before shit goes sideways. A lot of ranged troops on the field here. These fracking bone giants, man. I don't know how the dragon is gonna do 1v1 versus the bone dragon. It should be okay, I would think. Though a couple of you get out here. It looks like a lot of these guys are breaking, which is good. There we go, there's the army loss. We'll drop another heal before this battle finishes up. Oh well, that wasn't too bad. Yeah, it's just a lot more time consuming to have to fight these battles manually. I want to get the campaign finished before I die of old age. Are we still, I was gonna say, we still got guys coming on the field here? Shabal, you have a favorite American football team? The season is just around the corner. I'm getting starting to get excited. This is, you know, going into September and October. It's one of my favorite times of year. I think like the beginning of the football and hockey season, I think is one of my favorite times of the year. And then as the hockey season gets into like the first round of the playoffs, is another one of my favorite times of year. Shabal says, GG. Thank you, brother. Yeah, we got a lot of take this for the winds of magic. I mean, the gold would be nice, obviously, because, you know, we keep, though we're starting to get our even though we're losing armories, it's kind of good in a way because it's getting our cash situation under control, and we're not going to need as many armies as we continue to push against our enemies here. But yeah, the Winds of Magic, the additional Winds of Magic, it's invaluable for these fights. It was down to 36, now it's back up to... Oh my god. Alright, I'm gonna auto-resolve it because we're not gonna get anybody wiped out. Oh my god, if we lightning strike, we get completely wiped out. So, I mean, if we were to... Well, you know, I was going to say, if we were to manually resolve this... I don't know. But yeah, we get a little bit of replenishment back here. We'll get replenishment in the end turn. We'll have the opportunity to fall back to the main city there. So I think we should be alright. You know, I haven't done any sort of inventory management for a long time. And probably not going to do any, to be honest. Alright, yeah, let's just fall back to here and get some replenishments. While we wait for those guys. Shabal says, I don't have a favorite team, but my sister lives in Philadelphia, so I'm rooting for the Eagles. Ah, cool, man. Yeah, I don't know. Like the Eagles, I used to go to school with a guy who was an Eagles fan, and he was so freaking obnoxious that I always had sort of like a little bit of a grudge against the Eagles. But my younger brother, and I don't know how it came into being, has become an Eagles fan. So I've got a little bit of a soft spot for them, and then on top of that, I really love. I don't know if you guys are fans of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, but I really enjoy that show. I find it fucking hilarious. But anyway, Rob McElhenney, I highly recommend, if you haven't seen it, checking out his the documentary Welcome to Wrexham, where he and, oh my god, you gotta be shitting me, he and Ryan Reynolds purchased a, is this a siege? Is that why it's giving us a shit result? No, it's not a siege. They purchased a football team in Wrexham, which is in Wales. Anyway, really cool documentary, but he's from Philadelphia and big Philadelphia fan. So again, because of that, I got a little bit of a soft spot for the Eagles myself. Yeah, I don't know. And I really, another team I really, like, even though I'm a Dolphins fan, I love watching Patrick Mahomes play. Yeah, I really enjoy watching him play. And I don't know, thing that really disappointed about Mahomes, because being a Dolphins fan, always had a bit of a grudge against the Patriots, obviously, because we're in the same division and the Patriots were so dominant for so long. So I always had a bit of a grudge against Brady, and I was always so disappointed when Brady beat Mahomes, both in the conference final the one year and in the Super Bowls another year. So I don't know. I feel like Mahomes had a real shot to potentially be regarded as the greatest of all time. But because he lost to Brady in those two games, I don't think you could ever make the argument that he was better than Brady, which kind of disappoints me.
I stand ready. Our bows are yours.
Goes on. This is a guard mode,
Battle ready.
and we can actually up here a little bit closer. Do they have Cav here? I don't think they do have. Oh, they got Grail Knights. Grail Knights could be problematic. Let's position here, and that way we can hopefully isolate the Grail Knights first. Dave says, LOL, there's a game where the Eagles fans threw snowballs at Santa Claus. Yeah, sounds like Eagle fans. Sounds about right. Philadelphia. Nice. City of brotherly love. And throwing snowballs at frickin' some poor bastard dressed up as Santa Claus. Rankin Talk says, that auto resolves makes no sense at all. One Cav. You get into combat with them. Run! Run, run, run! Fracking Grail Knights. Shabbat says, it sounds like you really had an emotional roller coaster with this team, and they're not bad. I saw a few games last season, and they played quite well. Oh man, dude, they had a phenomenal season last year. I don't think anyone was really expecting them to do as well as they did, but
Dauntless Ezra!
pick up the peasant bowman.
Yes? Quickly!
But yeah, the thing is too, I really like their coaching philosophy. You know, they're like my brother is a 49ers fan, and the 49ers got beat by the Eagles in the conference final, and he was talking about how frustrating it is to watch the game because the 49ers would essentially just about have them stopped on third down, but then it would be like fourth and short, and the Eagles would go for it and get it every time. And I'm a big fan of that sort of aggressive coaching style. I think there are a lot of times in the game when it makes sense, depending on what the field position is and whatnot, and you know, you got to factor in momentum and things like that as well. But I think a lot of times it makes sense to go for it when it's fourth and short, especially if you have trained all season to do that. So I can kind of really appreciate that sort of that ballsy sort of coaching philosophy, because a lot of teams won't do that. Like, a lot of teams just play ultra conservatively, and you know, really bites them in the ass or whatever. But yeah, NFC's going to be interesting this year. Cowboys, 49ers, Eagles, Packers.
Son of Athelon!
Yeah, that didn't take too much time. Yeah, the only thing is, with my Dolphins, I am really worried about my quarterback situation. Like, Tua looked freaking phenomenal last year until he got hurt. Until he had like 3 concussions. And I don't know, concussions are scary, man. So scary. And like, concussions are career-ending type injury. Like, so I'm yeah, like, while I'm really looking forward to the season, I'm super nervous about my quarterback and the situation. Like, I don't know who they picked up, if they picked up anybody for the backup quarterbacks, but that's one of the first things I would have done. Is I would have recruited or traded for a really reliable and solid backup quarterback.
How can I assist you?
Alright, yeah, working towards finishing off Rapunzel. Finally. We're good. Not gonna mess around with farming her trait anymore. Sorry, not Rapunzel, but Corone, rather. Freaking, I can't believe we left her with 1 settlement, and I can't believe she went on a freaking rampage. Like, captured these, came all the way around this way. Like, she captured a lot of territory with just 1 sort of a very mediocre army. Take a look at what we got down here.
Proud daughter of Athelon.
Yeah,
Destroy
probably
them.
scoop that up.
I will not.
Regatalk says, enemy got 4 kills. Pyrrhic victory sounded completely accurate. Yeah. Well, I mean, my general took a little bit of damage too. But yeah. Ugh.
Lady of the Azra.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. The auto resolve is really bizarre sometimes,
How can I
but
assist you?
what are you gonna do?
You called?
What's in the army?
At your service.
Nature's War. Might as well go Nature's Quiver as well. It's kind of a mixed bag army here. A little bit of everything. Dave says, however, there are usually a few teams that surprise you for better or worse. Oh, there's always. I mean, part of that, I think that's a combination of, you know, just the way that the NFL is sort of set up. And I think, like, the NFL, I think, is one of the best sports leagues here in North America in terms of, like, creating parity within the league. I mean, you still get, like, the top teams that sort of, like, you know, the same, some of the same teams, you know, stay at the top for a long time. But I think that's just, you know, natural in sports when, you know, especially in a game where if you get one, you know, really dominant quarterback being such an important role, I think it's natural that some teams stay at the top for so long. But I think football is one of the best sports in just creating an even playing ground. Just, you know, the way it's set up with the draft, free agency, the salary cap. You know, it's one of the best sports for allowing teams to come up. And then the other thing too with that, and I mean, it's not as much the case now that it's a 17-game schedule. So yeah, I'm not sure how much variety there will be in the way that the schedule is, you know, sort of changed from year to year. But in past years, like, basically your schedule for the new season was dictated in large part on how well you played the previous season. So if you did really poorly, you would be matched up against, like, you would have to play all of your division games, but then you would have to play all your division games, and then you have to play, you know, one specific division from the opposite conference. But then the rest of your games, you would be, for the most part, matched up against teams that finished with a similar record to yours. So a lot of times what happens in football, because it's a shorter season, you end up in situations where some teams have weaker schedules than others. So that's why, you know, like, a lot of times, you know, teams will come completely out of nowhere, but then when you take a closer look at their schedule, it's like, okay, well, they did have, like, a really soft schedule kind of thing. But, you know,
How can I assist you?
I do think football does a really good job in creating, you know, creating a situation where
You call?
creating more of an even playing field. And I think hockey is kind of getting there a little bit as well. Maybe, I don't know. It's hard to say. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who comes along this year, who pops out of nowhere, takes the league by storm. Do we have enough movement to get there?
I serve only the changer.
Okay. I think we got enough movement. God, I can't wait to get everything in the south here occupied.
Glade Lord, at your service.
I can get
Orders are
on.
acceptable.
Oh, you know what? Why don't we?
Anything is possible.
Yeah, we'll go in that stance, so we don't take attrition. Means we won't be able to raise this, but it's just a minor settlement, so it's not going to be worth big bucks anyway. We'll just occupy it. Some resources down here, nothing wrong with that. Ooh, shoot, we're running out of names for these places. I think I've only got one more name in my list here. Where is it? Oh, New South Wales. Yeah, this is these are all Australian cities. I'm gonna have to research some more. Townsville, New South Wales, Cambria, Tasmania, Melbourne, Adelaide, Queensland, Perth, Darwin, and Down Under. I guess we can name one of them New Zealand, but I think we've got a handful left. We got this one, and is there
Assyrian
another one over here? Or is that it? Well, we got 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, there is 4. So that should be the last one right there. Altar of Sods.
Lord of the Glade.
Yeah, sorry, one. I wonder, it might be... you know what? Probably... Okay, this is what we'll do. When we take that, we'll split up. That way we can hopefully get this done a little bit.
Guardian of the Deep Wood. Orders understood.
Turn or two sooner. That way.
Glade Lord.
Alright. Yeah, we still got these rats over here on the loose. I'll be happy when they're gone completely. Yeah, I was kind of surprised that they were over here because that Clan Pestilence was over here. I had like a couple settlements over here on this continent. I will be very happy when they're gone. Double check. Yeah, we're at war with everyone. Alright. Oh shit, look at this. Optimus Pine. Shoot, last point. What do we give him? Stand your ground, I guess. Give him impenetrable bark. I think we'll just give him stand your ground. Oh wait. Oh, son of a bitch. He had more than 1 point to add. I might have changed that. Might have changed my decision. Might have changed. What is? No. Nope. Yeah, I guess one of these ones. Probably don't need more armor. A weapon strength.
All hail Kurnos, protector of the forest, treading silently.
Map is really starting to come together. Or two.
The forest has spoken.
Look at this freaking 2 build slots. Man, oh man. Life has never been so good. Alright, yeah, let's finally
These are dark times.
merge these armies. Let's put you in that stance because I think I'm going to bring you over here to get rid of them.
One with the forest.
And, shit, before we transfer them, let's just, merge them up.
Growth and life.
There we go. Alright. Oh, shit.
The mother goddess guides me.
Orders?
Dang it. Maybe I shouldn't have merged them all up because we're stuck with one Glade Guard. Oh well.
Lord of Athelloren.
Yeah. And we'll just disband these guys. Woo! Gets us down under 100k. Negative. How many armies were... So we're down to 40 armies. I think we had 60 some at some point.
How can I assist you?
Up against here. Not much, yeah, but we do have to get rid of them.
Highborn. My
Just
journey begins.
park there for now. That upgraded. Oh, that upgraded. And let's just keep building. Let's build one of those. And So we could save this last spot for this special building here. But we won't be able to build it until we actually do the ritual, so kind of doesn't necessarily make sense. So wait. But okay, we'll build God, if I can get my thing going, we'll build one of those for the heroes. We've got heroes available to recruit, but I just haven't been bothering to recruit them. Alright. Nice, more resources. You can move to there. How far can you get on? Oh yeah. Alright, yeah, come down to here. We're going here. Much.
You need me?
Not move this guy. How big is this army?
No, not fast.
Big enough to be a nuisance. Same thing with that force, I'm guessing. Oh, frickin' rats. Ratatouille. Not enough movement to catch him. Rid of this idiot. You gotta be shitting me. Close victory. What the hell? Alright, and I think probably make your way over here. So I guess we could have gone for the Pyramid of Nagash. Probably still. Shit, we're out of range now. Yeah, you know what? This is fine. Hit this. He can hit this, and then we can maybe take the pyramid after that. A bit annoying how much damage we took in that auto resolve against the dwarves. Freaking dwarves, man. You gotta be kidding me. Oh, Santa Maria. The thing is, like, man, we can go chase after this army, but they can just make more armies over here. So I think I want to get rid of their settlement first.
No, Gracia, never wrong.
Alright, yeah, he should be okay. He's got fairly elite units.
No mercy.
But yeah, we want to get rid of their settlements. They'll get new settlements, but we can hunt their army. It'll be a little bit easier to hunt their armies down if they don't have any holes to hide in. Yeah, this is exactly where I thought this situation went down. You have access to more regiments of renown.
Stop that!
The good thing is this is probably the bulk of their force. I do see another army over there. Another close victory. Sucks that we lost one of our armies over here, but you win some, you lose some. But yeah, that was my fault for not fighting the initial engagement. I should have fought the initial battle. Good. Got a little bit of healing in. If we go and attack this army, I don't think we're gonna have enough room to get here, and there's no way they're gonna stand and fight, and we're probably not gonna have enough room to run them down. So I think we'll just come and take this instead for the time being. And if he takes this, then we can retake it from him. But yeah, I think with those recent armies defeated over here in the mountains, in this valley here, I think the Iron Brows expedition is pretty well weakened, and this area is slowly coming together. We've got the rats, we've got Raponce, we've got the Tomb Kings, and we've got the dwarves, and then of course we've got Zinch there too. But it is coming together. What Dutch? Oh, okay, I thought that was an army for a second.
Lord of Athelor.
That would have freaking pissed me off. Let's take a look over here. What we got? I love this part of the map. The vibrant colors and everything. Pretty cool. Not to mention, really unique area as well.
Can I offer assistance?
It's very different terrain than some of the other, than anywhere else on the map, really. Dave says, hey Rag, what's your favorite NFL QB? I would have to say right now is Patrick Mahomes. I love watching Mahomes play. I know he seems a little bit cocky or whatever, but like, I think if I had the same amount of talent that he has, I would be pretty full of myself too. Dave says mine is John Elway. Well, if we're talking all time, it's got to be Dan Marino. Dan the man. Ah, man. Greatest quarterback to have never won the Super Bowl, man. It's just such a shame that he was never able to win the big one. Really, that shit really bothers me, man. I wish he would have won the bowl. But, yeah, Marino was the reason why I got into football. Like, you know, like when I was a kid, you know, like my friends and I, we used to play like tag football at recess or whatever. Sometimes we'd play tackle, but yeah, we used to play a lot of tag football, and so I used to watch a lot of the CFL, and then I sort of shoot, we're caught in the zone of control there. I was going to try and take that army out before they can recruit, but anyway. But yeah, I started watching the NFL. I started getting some of the... Oh man, that's really tempting. I think we'll do it. Fuck it. Started watching some of the NFL games, and it we only had like a limited amount of channels on where I lived in Nova Scotia, and so we would always get the Dolphins games for whatever reason, and I just freaking loved watching him play, man. It was like it didn't matter how much they were down by. There was always a chance that Marino could make like a last-minute comeback. Like, no lead felt safe. Like, he just really exciting quarterback to play or to watch.
The forest is whispering.
Dave says, yeah, I should have said all time, LOL. No worries, man, no worries. But yeah, if we're going all time, I'd have to go Dan Marino.
Anything is possible.
Dan the man. Let's scoop this up. Sugar. I should have taken that one first. Oh, man. It's good money over here. Though, for some reason, they're not backing off when they sack these settlements. Did they change something in the game? Because for some reason, these guys don't seem to be... Usually they back off, right? Let's merge up these dudes and just use the global to replace them. So hopefully we don't get attacked on the end turn. Bollocks, I don't know what to pick here. Yeah, sugar. Sugar, sugar, sugar. Now this guy's got to come over here and take this. I was going to send him that way. Though we've got this army that can go up that way. Okay, it's not the worst thing.
Lady of the Glade at your service.
And then she can... He can head over to this. God, it's... It is weird terrain, though. It's... For all its uniqueness.
These are dark times.
It has... weirdness to it. But yeah, so this army, we got to get rid of this guy, and then hopefully he drops into one of the settlements and we can eliminate him there. This guy could potentially come over here, but this army theoretically could come over here and scoop that up. So this dude can go straight that way. And then this army can go that way, I guess.
There can be no vanity.
And yeah, look at this terrain. I've never, I haven't played a whole lot of
A respite in our journey.
Cathay, so I'm not super familiar with this part of the map. This is all sort of new, new terrain for me. Dave says, yeah, sadly, I think Don Shula should have focus on giving Marino a better defense and running game. 100%, man. I totally agree. God, if only Ricky Williams could have landed in Miami a couple of seasons earlier. Because, I mean, like, just look at what having, what's his name, Terrell Davis did for John Elway, man. They were freaking unstoppable. Freaking unstoppable. And, you know what, like, for the 2 seasons there, what's his name, Terrell Davis put up some of the craziest numbers for a running back in NFL history, man. Like, he put up some ridiculous numbers. And I mean, for a couple of seasons, Ricky Williams put up some pretty awesome numbers for the Dolphins. And just imagine if he had Marino tossing the ball at the same time. Would have been man, would have been magical. Dave says Marino did a Sunday NFL show on CBS, I think, but I haven't seen him in a while. Yeah, he used to be on one of those Sunday morning shows and stuff. I don't know. I feel like he might be involved with the Dolphins somehow. He might be involved with the team, maybe. Not entirely sure. Actually, I maybe should have went into ambush stance there, but all right, things are going smooth.
I share the forest.
Shoot, what are we gonna do with you? Yeah, you know what? Might not be a bad idea to come around this way. Ah, shit. Fucking name replenishment now. Guessing that must be Skaven. I mean, it could be empty. Could be just raised because it's a lot of vampire stuff. But yeah, somebody's got to come down here and scoop up the Dragon Isle. So maybe that army will do that. Do have a lot of vampires. Oh my goodness gracious. I think Gorst must be the strongest in the game right now. Dave says, what do you think about the next DLC for Warhammer? It should be interesting. I don't know. I don't know a lot about it. I haven't been... I've been neck deep in Baldur's Gate 3. So, I haven't really been paying a whole lot of attention. I know there's, we were talking about it earlier, there's a bit of controversy about the game's pricing, or the DLC's pricing.
Treading silently.
A little bit of controversy there. And, yeah, like I said, I don't know a lot about it. I just know there's a new lord for Cathay. So I'm hopeful that Cathay has been given like a little bit of love, that because Cathay felt sort of like an incomplete faction to some extent. They just felt like they just felt kind of unfinished. So
Attack!
I'm hoping they get a little bit of boost. But aside from that, I don't know what else is being added. Oh man. Alright, we're gonna have to fight this. Bollocks. Alright, I think this might be the last battle of the day. I think I might end the stream after this, because I'm gonna stream some more Baldur's Gate 3 on the second channel later tonight. I just want to keep going in that. I've got some ideas that I want to try out in there, and then maybe make some potential guide videos or something.
Yours to command.
I mean, we've got a little bit of work done. It's, you know, these are still going slow and steady like.
Awaiting orders.
We've got a lot more work to do. Ah, shoot. You know what I meant to do is I meant to recruit a regiment of renown here for Orion's army. Because we could just heal these two dragons right here. We'll move the whole army up, even though we won't necessarily need the whole army. Dragons to go for... No, we might need the whole army, I don't know. But yeah, what else is in the DLC? It's new legendary lord, and I guess faction basically for Cathay. And then isn't Empire? Let me bring it up here. Take a look at it. Photo for Hammer ELC. So what do we got? Ah, shoot. I'm not gonna pay attention to what I'm doing here. There we go. You guys move back. Stay put there. For those orc boys. Give me a breath attack on those trolls.
Isha wills it.
Maybe it might be easier. Warhammer 3. Is this it here? Shadows of Change. That's what it is. So what do we got? We got. Oh, is that? Okay. Zinch's faction as well is getting an update. And Orion's getting upped up. Of course. Just them off.
Smash them! Protectors of the forest!
Guys, back up, back up, back up.
Ever ready. Attack! Charge! At once!
Dave says, I've been playing a lot of 3K, but without a lot of unit mods, a battle mod, and using a mod called MTU, which makes the generals look cool. Nice. Yeah, I feel like, you know, like a lot of the historical games now, like, really to get, like, full enjoyment out of them, you've got to, you gotta add something to them. You gotta add some kind of mod or something. Shit, get out of there.
Ready to
Just run these guys off the field.
Orion!
Oh, shit.
Yes!
as you say.
Shit. Oh, it's fracking Grimgore, that's why.
You have my speed!
Alright, Orion, get out of there.
Battle ready.
This should be paying a little bit better attention to what I'm doing here.
Hurry!
And there we go. Unit of Cav struggling there. Dave says, yeah, hopefully the Empire gets an update eventually, because whenever I play as Karl Franz, I feel like the Western Roman Empire just trying to keep everything together. Yeah, I don't know, though I don't know how much that'll eventually change with the Empire necessarily. I feel like we're gonna be stuck in that kind of situation where shit, I just totally missed that. Kind of hoping for the army loss here, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Still got some big baddies out there. Dave says, by turn 60 there is no elector camps to summon. Yeah, there's a lot going on in that that area, right? That area of the map. Black Wolves, go deal with the Doom Divers. There's so many potential enemies that the Empire, like you said, the electric counts pretty much fall apart pretty quick.
With haste! Trample them!
Yeah. Got alright. So we're gonna isolate these one at a time kind of thing. Ryan, I don't want him to. Oh, let's heal Orion so we can get him built back up. You guys withdraw. I don't want to lose you. You guys see if you can mob one of these, and Orion can over here and help out. Make a very good use of all of Orion's
Awaiting orders.
abilities necessarily. Yeah, the thing is, I don't know how we're gonna take down. Oh shit! Did I get the? I didn't get it on the right one, and it fucking died. Oh man, this battle turned out to be a disaster. I did not fight it the best, to be honest. This is says, but I haven't played Warhammer for about a month, but I'll eventually get back into it. Yeah, I mean, like Total War. The great thing about Total War, there's a lot of variety out there now for Total War games. So there's a lot of choice. I jump around a lot, as you well aware. Freaking Grimgore, man, and these Black Orcs.
Ready to serve.
Armed and ready! Ride them down!
But yeah, it's nice, you know, nice that we got like a little bit of variety to work with. See if that, see if we can get a hit on him that way.
Fear the deepwood.
Most of the rest of the army is running. Yeah, unfortunately, we did take some heavy losses here.
Battle ready.
Trample them!
Orion! Annihilate all!
Alright, hopefully these dragons can kill. Yeah, freaking Grimgore, man. Alright, Orion, get out of there. Get out of there. Ooh, shit, that was close. Oh, you get out of there. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that was a disaster. That was a freaking disaster. I guess we only lost one dragon. We might lose a couple of these. Would have gone better, not gonna lie. It's really disappointing that we weren't able to get Ariel into Orion's army in this campaign. It's really unfortunate. Because that would have made a really would have made his army a lot stronger. You know, like we could have basically just gotten rid of all of these life mages and just replaced it with her. Though I mean, they're not bad to have just for extra winds of magic. But Dave says if they make a medieval 3, I hope the map covers Europe to Asia, but maybe that would be asking too much. Man, I would love to see medieval 3 cover the entire globe. I think would be awesome. Just, you know, get South America in there as well, you know. Just really go for it. Yeah, we're gonna have to run them down anyway. But I think this is where I'm gonna end it for now. I'm gonna try to come back with more of this campaign, though I might switch it up for the next Total War stream. I might play one of the other campaigns just because holds my interest a little bit more when I switch around a little bit. But yeah, we're inching closer to victory. If we take a look at the overall map here, I mean, it's coming together. I mean, we've got all of this. We've almost got the entire Western Hemisphere. This won't take us too long to mop up, and then that'll free those two armies. Probably what I'll do with those two armies is send them back to the forest and use the world routes. Jabal says, thanks for the stream. Have a good one. Dave says, thanks, Reg. It's been a pleasure. Yeah, no. Good conversation today, guys. I do really enjoy talking about football and sports and whatnot, and a little bit of the politics and that sort of stuff. But yeah, it's things are coming together. Still a fair bit of work to do. I don't know how much of this yeah, there's still a fair bit of territory here, but once this is all filled in, then we'll have all the armies kind of moving in the same direction, kind of thing. But it's a matter of time, just a matter of time before we get this campaign done. Anyway, I will be streaming, or Auto Resolve will be streaming on the secondary channel, just a little bit of Baldur's Gate 3 tonight, and then we'll be back with more Total War tomorrow, hopefully. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate the company. Have yourselves a